Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. According to The Guardian, Manchester United could re-sign under Herrera following Lionel Messi's move to PSG. Now we did have Ander Herrera for 5 years. We got him back in 2014 from Atletico Bilbao. We got him for €36 million. When Ander Herrera was with us, he won the Charity Shield, he won the FA Cup, he won the EFL Cup and the Europa League. Also, he won Sir Matt Busby Player of the Year. Ander Herrera made 132 appearances for us in the Premier League. We let Ander Herrera go on a free transfer to PSG back in 2019. Herrera won the domestic quadruple in his first season at PSG. PSG are also looking to offload Mario Icardi and Idrissa Gueye. Like I said to you though, I think we made a bad mistake getting rid of Ander Herrera back in 2019 because he was a very, very good midfielder for us. Ander Herrera keeps the ball well, he gets forward well, he's good from long range and he reads the game well. Now, you know the news on Rafael Varane from Real Madrid. Rafael Varane will be official today. Varane has completed his medical. Man United and Real Madrid agreed initial fee of £34 million, rises up to £43 million with add-ons. Varane has agreed a 4-year contract with an option of a further year. Varane will receive £250,000 a week at Man United. Varane recently quarantined in Manchester. The other week he said his goodbyes to Real Madrid. There's a very good chance that Varane will be making his debut for the club this Saturday against Leeds. Varane is regarded as one of the best centre-halves in the world. He's highly experienced, he's got a great pedigree as a player. Because he won a lot of trophies at Real Madrid. We went in for Varane back in 2011 under the Sir Alex Ferguson era. We also went in for him back in 2018 because if you do remember rightly, Woodward was prepared to sanction a £100 million move. But I can assure Varane will exceed expectations in the Premier League, and I'm convinced that Man United will replicate what he did in his years with Real Madrid. What a fantastic centre-back partnership that is, Varane and Harry Maguire, because they'll complement each other very well. Varane endured 10 years with Real Madrid. He made 360 appearances in all competitions. His current contract at Real Madrid was due to expire next year. Real Madrid offered him a renewal contract offer, but he rejected it. Now, like I updated you this morning, Man United have abandoned the pursuit of Kieran Trippier, Eduardo Camavinga, Saul Niguez and Ruben Neves. I want Manchester United though to get a midfielder in. It recently said that we've been interested in Saul Niguez. We've already had discussions with the agents of Saul Niguez. Last week he said that Saul Niguez's agents were due in England for talks with Man United and Liverpool, because Man United and Liverpool have been the ones battling it out for Saul Niguez's signature. Atletico Madrid were demanding between 35 million to 40 million pound. The AS said that Niguez favours a move to Barcelona. We actually identified Niguez as a potential replacement for Pogba. Niguez has a gentleman's agreement in place with Atletico Madrid. Niguez has a £128 million release clause. He's got a contract with Atletico till 2026, because back in 2017 he signed a 9-year contract. He's been at Atletico Madrid around 13 years or so he's been a long-serving player. Can be deployed as a central midfielder or a defensive midfielder. Eduardo Camavinga. Now, recent reports said that Man United made a serious push for Camavinga. There were stories coming out from Foot Mercato though saying that PSG are set to make their move for Camavinga. Mohamed Bouatsfi came out and said that Camavinga's agent Jonathan Barnett is pushing him towards Man United, but the player's preference is PSG. Rennes sporting director and Rennes' coach has confirmed that Camavinga will be leaving Rennes this summer. Rennes are prepared to sell Camavinga for 25.7 million. They want to cash in for him because his current contract at Rennes expires next year. Fabrizio Romano's spoken a lot about the Camavinga transfer saga. He came out the other week and said that Man United had direct contact with Camavinga. He also mentioned that we love Camavinga and we're interested in him. He's made 82 appearances for Rennes in all competitions. And Ruben Neves, he's out of the equation, because the other week Ruben Neves came out and said that he's made a decision on his future. He called any talks of an exit away. He's revealed his excitement of working alongside new Wolves coach Bruno Lage. But just before that, it says Wolves were ready to sell Ruben Neves, and the name they're asking price, it was £35 million. Wolves got Ruben Neves back in 2017 from Porto. They paid 15.8 million. He's got a contract with Wolves, is it, till 2024. You know, Ruben Neves is good. He's proven in the Premier League, still young, got a lot of development in him. He's a key player for Wolves. You know, don't forget Wolves lost Diego Jota last year to Liverpool, and Wolves have really struggled without him. They also lost Matt Doherty. And Kieran Trippier, as you all know, Man United have ended their interest because it looks like Diego Dalot is now staying. He was impressive throughout pre-season, to his credit. Arsenal have actually made their move for Trippier to replace Hector Bellerin. Man United have been unable to agree a fee with Atletico Madrid for Trippier. Sky Sports recently said that Atletico Madrid want £34 million for Trippier. We've already had 2 offers rejected for him. But Solskjaer has been very pleased with our transfer business in this summer transfer window. We've made 3 signings in this summer transfer window. You know, we brought Tom Eaton in on a free transfer from Villa. We brought Jadon Sancho in from Borussia Dortmund. As you all know, he recently completed his first training session at Carrington. And we brought Rafael Varane in, and in the summer transfer window so far we've spent almost £120 million. Solskjaer recently spoke out on Man United's transfer plans before deadline. He did say, Solskjaer, that any more signings would be a bonus for Man United as we approach the final 3 weeks of the summer transfer window. But Solskjaer does want to make one more signing. But who's it going to be? I'm delighted that Solskjaer has had the backing he deserves because he wasn't backed enough for such a long time. Surprisingly, our owners, the Glazers, have backed him only because the Glazers have been persuaded to. Towards the end of last season, a lot of United fans protested against the Glazers at Old Trafford. Because the Glazers were planning to scrap the Champions League for that European Super League. Solskjaer did reveal, though, that the Glazers apologised towards the end of last season. And it said towards the end of last season that the Glazers could have been forced to sell Man United, but for only £4 billion. Don't get me wrong, they've been one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time. Because the Glazers have put Man United in so much debt. And in general, I hate the way the football club's been run for a long time. The Glazers have been at Man United for 16 years. They purchased the club for £500 million back in 2005. Woodward, he said several times before that he'd back Solskjaer, and when was enjoying them bad periods under Ollie, Woodward assured that Solskjaer's job was safe. Woodward's been one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time because, like I mentioned before, he was accountable for how poor our recruitment was for so long. Plus, we've overpaid for players in recent years. Woodward should have never been put into that position in the first place when he was making the footballing decisions. Woodward's had a 16-year association with the club. He's leaving Manchester United. Not so long ago, Woodward sent a transfer warning to Solskjaer, saying that he's got to sell some players to get more signings on the board. John Murtough has played a part in getting the players Solskjaer wanted to get in. John Murtough is our director of football, and Man United certainly made the right decision getting a director of football in, because I did mention that's one of the structural changes that we needed at the club. I am expecting to see some departures in this summer transfer window. There's a very good chance that Brandon Williams is going to go out on loan. I want us to offload Phil Jones. I said I wanted us to offload Delors, but like I mentioned, it looks like Delors is now staying. I'd like us to offload Lindelof in this summer transfer window, but we're not going to. But I reckon from now he hasn't got a long-term future at Man United. You know, I've got my strong reservations about Victor Lindelof. I think we need to offload Lingard, but Solskjaer recently confirmed that Lingard's staying. To Lingard's credit though, he did well throughout pre-season. Andres Pereira, I'd like us to get rid of him. He did well throughout pre-season as well, to his credit. We loaned him out last season to Lazio. I'd like us to offload Nemanja Matic, but obviously we're not going to. And I'd like us to offload Anthony Martial. The Telegraph said though yesterday that Man United have got no intentions of selling Anthony Martial. He's part of Solskjaer's plans for the new season. He did say though recently that Man United are ready to sell Anthony Martial for £50 million. He did mention that Inter Milan want him to replace Lukaku, because Lukaku's gone back to Chelsea. He said we'd be happy to loan Martial out as long as Inter Milan agreed to include an obligation to buy in the deal. You know, Man United have got a very, very good squad now. You know, with the signings of Varane and Sancho. The squad will be even better if we can get another player or two on the board. I thought the squad was decent though before Sancho and Varane came in. You know, like I mentioned, Varane, he's going to do really, really well at Man United. I'm convinced Sancho will do well at Man United, providing Solskjaer uses him right. Tom Heaton, he's a decent goalkeeper as well. He's a backup goalkeeper, but to Tom Heaton's credit, he did very, very well throughout pre-season. He was very vocal. Yeah, we got Tom Heaton on a free. He signed a contract with Man United till 2023. There's an option of a further year. Dean Henderson, you know, he's a very good goalkeeper. He did well in a lot of the games he was in goal for last season. You know, his distribution, that was good, and he kept a lot of clean sheets. Before the start of last season, Henderson signed a 6-year contract with the club, so reflecting on that, he committed his future to Man United. And Henderson's got that experience behind him because he enjoyed 2 successful loans with Sheffield. He's also had other loan spells before. We know that he's missing the start of this season because he's recovering from coronavirus. David De Gea, I still highly rate him despite the mistakes he has made in the last couple of years. We know that David De Gea is staying at Man United for at least this season. Quite a few weeks ago now, was it? He said De Gea decided to cut short his holiday by 2 weeks to fight for the starting place. And he said De Gea is determined to fight for his future. And he didn't sulk when he lost the number 1 jersey to Dean Henderson. Just got on with things. He said De Gea was set for talks with Solskjaer over his future after the Euros. He said at one point De Gea could have been loaned out to make more room in the goalkeeping department because we have got a lot of goalkeepers. David De Gea has endured 10 years at Man United, so he's been a long servant. You know, he's been with us since the Ferguson era. De Gea's had 8 good years at Man United. He's now approaching his 11th season. But De Gea has won everything domestically at the football club, and he's made over 500 appearances for Man United in all competitions. But if we was to sell him, in January or next summer, I reckon we'd get from between 40 to 50 million pound. Harry Maguire, decent centre half. He's had his good games at Man United. He's also had his bad games. He was a big miss for us towards the end of last season because he had ligament damage in his ankle. To Harry Maguire's credit, he did well for England during the tournament. I think we're going to get the best out of Maguire now anyway, with Varane alongside him. We overpaid for Maguire though. We got him for £80 million, so reflecting on that, he's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment and the second most expensive signing at the club. You've got Eric Bailly, decent centre-half, but my concern about Bailly is injury prone, so in that aspect he is a liability. Towards the end of last season, Bailly signed a new contract with Man United till 2024. There's an option of a further year. Probably made a mistake giving him that new contract. Bailly's future is in doubt anyway, following the arrival of Raphael Varane. I'd keep Bailly at Man United though as a backup. So if Varane or Maguire get injured, then Bailly is the plan B. You've obviously got Lindelof there as a backup as well, but like I said, Lindelof is a liability. I certainly prefer Bailly to Lindelof, I really do. Bailly's been with us around 5 years now. Got him from Villarreal back in 2016 for £30 million. Luke Shaw, very good left back. He was our best player last season, Luke Shaw. He really was. In fact, last season he was the best left back in the Premier League. Luke Shaw still remains our first choice left back despite the arrival of Alex Telles. Shaw's been at Man United now around 7 years, so he's been a long-serving player, and I reckon he's had a good career at Man United despite his injuries. I can see us extending Luke Shaw's contract. I think he's got just under 2 years left on his current contract. Did well for England during the tournament as well. And Wan-Bissaka, he's a very, very good right back. He's one of the best right backs we've had since Gary Neville. This season's massive for Wan-Bissaka. He's got to produce the goods. But defensively he's always been superb, but Bissaka has got to show more attacking intent. We got Wan-Bissaka for £50 million from Crystal Palace back in the summer of 2019. Alex Telles now, I think he's a decent left back. But I haven't really had much of a perception on him at Man United because he's hardly played. He's only endured 1 season at Man United. When we got Telles last year, I expected him to be our first choice left back immediately. But didn't happen. At one point Telles did have COVID. Telles is going to miss the start of this season anyway with an ankle injury he sustained the other week whilst he was training. He's been subjected to transfer speculation. We got Telles for £15.4 million. He's got a contract with Man United until 2024. McTominay, he's a decent player. McTominay's been part of the club for a long time. He certainly needs more time at the club. He's still young, got a lot of development in him. Can he emulate that level where I want him to be at? Just after the first lockdown last year, McTominay signed a 5-year contract with Man United. And Paul Pogba, he's a good player. produced some very good performances for Man United in the last couple of months of last season, but at one point last season he was out with a thigh injury for a while. Paul Pogba is staying at Manchester United now, as PSG signed Lionel Messi on a £1 million a week deal. But Pogba could leave Man United on a 3 next summer. We've got to get Pogba a new contract. The other week, Pogba rejected a new contract at Man United, but Sky Sports came out and said that Pogba can see a long-term future at Man United, but may wait on the contract extension. But it said anyway from the Telegraph that Pogba will start the season with Man United, then he'd make a decision about his future before the 31st of August. Pogba's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid £89 million for him, and he's enjoyed 5 seasons at Man United since he rejoined. Donny van der Beek, I think he's a decent player as well. I'm hoping Donny van der Beek gets a lot more starts this season than he did do last season. Van der Beek only started 4 games in the league last season, so far most of Donny van der Beek's appearances have come from the bench. Solskjaer recently said though he hopes Van der Beek hits the ground running. That's when he returns to pre-season training. Van der Beek has been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. We got Van der Beek in a deal worth 40 million from Ajax. He's got a contract with Man United till 2025 and he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. Bruno Fernandes, very, very good player. He's one of our best players and he's one of the best signings we've made since Ferguson retired. Mason Greenwood, he's been an absolute revelation since he broke into our senior squad. Despite him going a long period without scoring, you've got Cavani. He's made an impact since he's come in and I'm delighted he's staying for this season. But after this season, Cavani's going to be leaving. Marcus Rashford's good when he wants to be, but there's aspects of Marcus Rashford's game that's got to improve. It really, really has. And he's become injury prone as Rashford. That's also an element of concern. Rashford's out until October with a shoulder injury. Don't forget he decided to have surgery on his shoulder. We need to keep Rashford out on that left hand side because that's where he seems to be more effective. So there you go. But some players at Man United that are not good enough to represent the club. Martial isn't good enough. Lingard, I don't think it's good enough despite him doing well throughout pre-season. Andres Herrera, I don't think he is. Matic isn't good enough. Fred certainly isn't good enough. I've got my strong reservations about him. Lindelof isn't good enough either. So there you go. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.